Hi, Mithun. Wonderful to have you here for the 61st Foundation Day of IIT Madras, and looking forward to talking to you about your memories from your time on campus. So I
Likewise,
would I would like to just start out by asking you what do you remember the most about IIT Madras and your 4 years there?
remember the most a very broad question. For me, number one, I remember the companionship of a set of very close friends that I formed. I mean, like any college experience, I formed a bunch of close friends who still today stay in touch, even 20 years down. That's the first thing that I remember. For me, it was also the first time I was staying outside home. Although I was a localite from Chennai, I stayed in the campus, and staying in such a fantastic campus for such a long time gives you a chance to do so many different things. So these are probably the two things I remember the most.
Okay, got it. What do you miss the most? That is my next question.
What do I miss the most? I think just the opportunity to have that camaraderie with a set of friends, without very much else going on. And this has nothing to do with IIT per se. I think any college campus situation gives you a chance to sort of explore friendships, do a whole bunch of things together with a set of like-minded individuals and people who you get along with. And I obviously miss that, and that's tougher to replicate in your day-to-day professional environment and you're living your day-to-day life. Everything else, I mean, you could replicate anyway. That is tough to replicate, which is just the usual college life.
Yeah, got it. Moving on, one thing that I wanted to know was what was your favorite spot in IIT Madras, and is there any particular reason behind it?
See, favorite spot is a little complicated, Surya. So I think I'll say one which was very interesting. I don't know if it still exists. So I mean, maybe two, right? Number one was I was part of the Ganga hostel, and
Oh,
in Ganga there was a place where everyone would gather, and it was and a lot of my friends lived at that point in what they called Wing Six, which was on the third floor. I don't know if they still call it Wing Six, but I was actually on the second floor. But I used to spend a lot of time on that sixth floor, on the third floor landing, along with all of the friends, doing very not very much, but that's where we caught up a lot. And that is a spot that I really like. And I went back recently to the institute. I was walking up and down, and obviously now Ganga has a new addition wing only, so everything has changed quite a bit. So I don't know if it's still the same sort of social experience, but then it was. We didn't have computers in our room, so it was a place where people hung out and spend some time. So that's one. The other is a very unusual spot. I don't know if it exists still, but it's this thing where if you ride past the metallurgy, the mechanic MSP, then you ride past the metallurgy wing in MSP. Then you go towards where Aero and Navak and all of that was there down that road, and then you take a right turn at some place. I forget exactly which place you take the right turn. You take the right turn. There was this plane which was sort of crash landed into the forest. I don't know if it still exists on campus. It's a small I think single seater actual plane, which has been put down on the ground. I don't think it actually crash landed there, but it's there. And lots of, trees and stuff have grown around it, and it's just there. Nobody's doing anything with it. It's just and it used to be there in 2002. I'm not certain it still exists. But if it does, it was a very cool thing. I mean, to have it in the middle of the forest where there's like crash landed single seater plane with no buildings anywhere nearby was a cool spot to have. I think these were two which I really remember.
I'm in Ganga myself, so the Ganga thing is I can relate, but this other spot I'll have to go and search for.
It's there. I mean, people should know the crash landed plane. There are not too many of those. There's only one, and it's a plane, so you can see it. You just have to ride up to it to see it because otherwise it's covered in trees. I don't know if it still exists. Maybe they moved it because there's been a lot of construction since I left.
After IITM, of course, it's I think almost 18 years on for you. What would you say to younger alumni such as myself and maybe someone who's just graduating from campus today?
So yeah, I think the one thing I would say is, people who got into IIT got in through a fairly rigorous selection process. So by definition, your ability to handle an intense process and just sort of work with an IQ forward question set is very high, right? That should give you confidence that whatever it is that comes up in the next 18 years of your life after you leave IIT, you will be successful because you have the intrinsics which will make you successful. So my only message to folks in campus today would be, if you're going through a period where you're wondering, hey, would I be within quote successful? What should I do? What I would urge you to do would be number one, to explore and to be confident that as part of your exploration, you would anyway be successful and you would enjoy whatever it is that came out of it. Because the intrinsics that you come in with, if you were selected to make it into IIT, are very strong. So you just have to lean back on those intrinsics and you'll do well anyway.
A very comforting message in these troubling times.
Okay, so I for IITM.